Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back. Guys, I want to jump right into this story about 25-year-old Rasheem Carter, who last October was supposedly chased by 3 truckloads of white men while he was trying to get away, and he ran to the police department. You know, supposedly this was in Taylorsville, Mississippi, in October of 2022. Come 1 month later, November 2022, you know, after being reported missing, he was found in a wooded area and he was dismembered and decapitated. Now, before I jump into this news article to let you guys catch up with the story that's been floating around, you know, it's just amazing to me. I've lived in Mississippi for 1 year when I attended school out there. And it's amazing to me that here we are 100 years, 2023, 100 years off of when, you know, a lot of the crazy stuff was happening, which it still does happen in isolated cases across the country. We're not even going to front on that. But I mean, Mississippi has always left a bad taste in the mouth of black folks in and out of that state. And it's a damn shame that here we go again with another crazy story out of Mississippi. This boy was beheaded, dismembered. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. It might have been 5 years ago where somebody was beheaded and they put his head on the porch. Stupid ass, silly scare tactics. And, you know, this kind of stuff really aggravates me because it's like no matter how far we come as a people, there's always somebody to let us know, in our eyes, you ain't nothing. And it's unacceptable. Guys, go ahead and look at this news excerpt and then I'll come back with my thoughts. Check it out.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump was in Jackson today, calling for answers in the mysterious death of a young Fayette man whose remains were found a month after he went missing. 12 News' Leah Williams heard from attorneys who are calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to step in. Leah?
Melanie, the state medical examiner's office was not able to determine a cause of death for 25-year-old Rasheem Carter. His family believes there was foul play, so their attorney sent a letter to the Department of Justice asking them to get involved. We want to warn you that some of the video is graphic and could be disturbing to some viewers. 25-year-old Rasheem Carter of Fayette was contracted to work in Smith County last year. Carter went missing in October after texting his mother that his life was in danger.
He said, me and the owner of this company not seeing eye to eye, mama. His name, which I can't say at this time, but if anything happened to me, he's responsible for it. I'm too smart, mama. He got these guys wanting to kill me. And that's what he sent to me.
Attorneys say there was an attempt to use Carter's credit card in Taylorsville while he was missing. A month after his disappearance, some of his remains were found in Smith County.
His head was severed from his body. His vertebrae, his spinal cord, was in another spot they discovered away from his severed head. They have recently found remains that they believe are also Rasheem Carter.
The Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office was not able to determine a cause of death because some of Carter's remains were in an advanced state of decomposition. Attorney Carlos Moore called it one of the most disturbing cases of his lifetime.
I've been a Mississippian for all 46 years of my life, and I've never heard of a crime this horrific in my life. I was not living during the time of Emmett Till. I heard about that and read about it in the history books, but I thought we had progressed in Mississippi.
The Smith County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation, and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is assisting. But his family says more needs to be done, so attorneys sent a letter asking the U.S. Department of Justice to get involved.
We need the highest levels of law enforcement to administer justice for Rasheem Carter as if he was your child.
The Smith County Sheriff says he's waiting for the findings from search warrants to come back. He also says he welcomes the involvement of the Department of Justice. I reached out to MBI as well, but the agency declined to comment on this investigation. Melanie, back to you.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This thing right here hurts me to the core. You know, like I said, it's 2023, not 1923, and we still going through the same bullshit that us as a people have been going through for years. Mississippi, I stayed there for a year while I was in school, in college, and man, it's a Mississippi, a different animal. You know, now I stayed mostly on campus. I went to Natchez, Mississippi a couple of times. I've been to Biloxi, you know, passing through, and I've been to Jackson twice. And I got to be honest with you guys, you know, the situation that happened to this young man is sad. I honestly believe that he was either, you know, because he came from Fayetteville, or wherever he was from. I think it was called Fayette. And he was doing the right thing. He took a job in another town, trying to make something good of himself. Now, me honestly, I think with all that happened with him, I think he might have been the only black dude out there working. You know what I mean? Because I just don't see, you know, other black people seeing him getting targeted and all this other stuff, and him not talking to nobody else and no witnesses coming forward. That's why I say that. Now, I might be wrong, because this story right here is just breaking, and a lot more is going to come out. But I mean, for me being in Mississippi and just seeing how the culture was, it was totally different from being on the West Coast where I was from. A lot of the stories the students at the college I was at were saying, me from Jersey, friends I had made from Chicago, Detroit, and other places, we would listen to these stories, and it's like we couldn't believe it, because white folks didn't act like that where we was from. And black folk act different than they was acting in Mississippi at that time. Because a long time ago, you know, rap shaped the culture of a lot of black consciousness nowadays, in the way we act, the way we walk, and the way we talk. Let's be honest with it. And everybody had a diverse culture. You had the East Coast, where most of the rap in the 90s was coming out of. Then you had the West Coast coming up. And then you had a few rappers in the middle states, like Houston and Louisiana, that was coming up. But we couldn't fathom that. So when we got down there and we was hearing all of this stuff, we didn't believe it. You know, and they were like, yeah, there's certain towns you can't go to after dark out here. And we was like, what? You know what I'm saying? We was just arrogant and ignorant. We didn't know anything. But it's messed up. It's like the city of Mississippi, the black brothers have been under siege for a long time. And when I say under siege, I'm not saying like they don't have certain freedoms, but it's very easy for them to get in trouble more frequently than it is in other places across the United States. They have this good old boy culture too down there. You know what I'm saying? You see it. I seen the movie Till. I know about Emmett Till. I watched all the civil rights stuff back in the day. And I think, you know, when a lot of people complain and, oh, we don't want to see that on TV, that's just what we need right now, because we've lost the conscious state of how far we've come. And that's why, as we're getting desensitized with what we see in the media and all these other movies and the way we treat each other as a people, it makes it that much easier for states like Mississippi to do that to us. And the nation doesn't react the way it used to in the 50s and 60s. You understand what I'm saying? We need to bring that shit back in Black History Month. Start showing that stuff on TV, all the struggles we went through. It's like nowadays, we don't have no sense of pride at all. And I'm going off on a tangent, I know that, but this got to be said, guys. We have no sense of pride of how far we come, why education is important, why sticking together is important, and why being black is not a curse. This boy, I keep saying boy, I'm 50 years old. Y'all got to bear with me. And most of my subscribers and people that listen to me are older than me or my age. So you know what I mean when I say that. 25-year-old, right? Young man, life ahead of him. He did the right thing. Went and traveled for work. A lot of people won't even get a job. We know that. Found dismembered. ran to the police station while being chased. Called his mother. Hey, do what I say. He did. He followed instructions. He did all the right things, and he still wound up dismembered in the woods. A lot of y'all don't know, there's trail cams, deer cams, of him running around, bruised up, with a big stick, looking around with his shirt ripped off, like he was being hunted like an animal. And he's on the lookout because people are tracking him and hunting him. If this ain't some old lynch mob type shit, unbelievable, man. With all the technology and advancements that we have and all of us trying to come together as people, period, this shit is still happening. And it's crazy because you got this culture down there. And I'm going to tell you something. Mississippi, one of the poorest states in America. And it's been one of the poorest states for a long time. You know why it's one of the poorest states? Because you got this goofy ass backward culture with a lot of these white officials out there. They'll have a job, pass it down to their son, pass it down to their son. And the cycle fucking continues. And that's sickening. The FBI need to get involved. If they don't get involved, this is some bullshit. And the reason why I brought up that passing the stuff down, because everybody knows everybody. For them to be driving up and down the street chasing somebody like that, you know they got to know somebody in law enforcement, or it might have been law enforcement themselves. We've seen that countless times again, too. A lot of people in the Klan back in the day was cops. So the black people running right to their own destruction. Y'all ever seen that movie Rosewood? Pay attention. Go look at that movie Rosewood. That came out some years back, where they wiped that whole town of Florida out damn near. Listen, guys. The mother did not stop pursuing this, but they tried to open and shut. Look at this shit. Sheriff's office down there. Was it Taylorsville? We don't know how he was dismembered. You don't know. It could have been wild animals and all of this stuff. Anything could have happened. So his head just fell the fuck off. So an animal just ate his head off and left the rest of the body alone. They did an autopsy, and I give the mom credit. Ma'am, I give you credit. You get your own autopsy. Because state of Mississippi, I don't trust the state at all. And I'm not talking about the residents, so I'm going to hear no flack in the comment section. I'm talking about the powers that be that are down there, where it's always been the same old bullshit, same old miss. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trusting nothing they say. Because I honestly think, these people knew people in law enforcement. Now, for them to be driving all around doing all this crazy shit. And then how did he get out of his car, right? And wind up in the woods? That's the thing I want to know. Well, how did he wind up in the woods running for his life? It might have been they had diverted, separated, and chased him right the way he wanted to be. Where they wanted him to be at. And this is some messed up stuff. That I keep saying, boy, that guy was 25 years old, right? Want to take a job not even knowing that you won't even come back fucking home. Disgraceful. Now, she went and got her own independent autopsy. I got off the subject, I'm sorry. And that was smart. That was very smart. Get your own independent autopsy. Because you can't trust nothing with the state. You know what I mean? You don't know who knows who and who's related out there. Me, I would get the fuck out of Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's the only way to just up and leave. But I mean, come on, man. Come on. Like I said, the feds need to get involved. Feds need to get involved. Because you ain't going to get no justice down there with all that mom and pop bullshit and everybody know everybody. You're not going to get justice. Sheriff. Doesn't seem like foul play. How the fuck his head come off, you dumbass? Could have been animals. Why ain't chew the rest of the body up? Why it ain't in the autopsy report? You don't see no animal bite marks. See, more stupid. Forensics scientists are smarter than police. That's why they get caught by their own damn forensics and stuff when they try to do crime. The bones and all that stuff, you would have seen teeth scraping because you know animals crack bone and all that stuff. You could tell when the animal bite a bone and all this other stuff. You would see it. I ain't hear none of that stuff about animals ate. They might eat the flesh off of them, but eating the bone and stuff. And then it's like some of his body parts were not found in the same place. And honestly, I didn't see any report where all of his body was recovered. So he might have had some part of him dragged off. But to be dismembered, an animal is not going to dismember you with his teeth like that. I mean, they'll rip parts of you off, but they're saying dismember like this man was done dirty. Because what I think, honestly, I think he was killed and then dismembered. That's what I think. Because I don't see him standing still. Because if you look at the picture, when he had his shirt off, he a big dude. You know what I'm saying? And you know, with a struggle, the way his skull looked, I mean, that's be hard to do. I think he was dead or strangled or might have been hung, and then they did him like that. It's messed up, man. Messed up. They yelling racial slurs and chased him. He ran to the fucking police department. Why y'all ain't do nothing? Gonna tell him, oh, you can't stand here. That right there sound suspect. That's fishy right there. You can't sit in here. Why you ain't going to investigate? And then when he left, how did they catch him again? It had to be people he worked with and knew he ain't had nowhere to go. They probably was sitting outside somewhere. He was smart when he called his mom and told all that stuff, because I think that's what saved it and opened the whole investigation. Man, I hope they catch these motherfuckers and set them on fire. That's real rap right there, because nobody should have to go through that. You know me, when I look at crimes and stuff like that, I look at what caused it, you know, and how you come back from that. His family in Mississippi, they already know the culture. And to have your kid, and he seemed like he was a good dude. He seemed like he was a good guy. You know, he was smiling in his pictures. He wasn't giving the finger. He ain't had no weed in his mouth. No, he looked like he was really trying to make it. And that's the part that's sad to me. The good ones always meet untimely demise. It don't matter. Don't matter. The police failed to act. They failed to act in this whole situation. He come in there. Oh, hold your horses. What's going on? You know, he probably panicking and stuff. They probably looking at him like, oh, he's on drugs. You know, the dumb shit they say. He's crazy. Calm down, calm down, calm down. They probably already knew. They already knew. Because they took him to a secluded area and did him dirty like that. I would not be surprised if some of these people are not in law enforcement or related to people in law enforcement. And they had the green light to do that as long as they took him a certain way and they could make it to where it was not foul play. But that's the games people play. This good old boy bullshit got to stop, man. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Until we start sticking together, because they stick together when they do that devilish shit, we need to start sticking together as people, period. Ain't nobody going to care for us until we start caring for ourselves. I did the story, what was it, last month about Michael Corey Jenkins. Remember him? The police ran up in the house, beat him and his friend up. You understand what I'm saying? Waterboarded them and tortured them for 2 hours, supposedly. What the fuck, man? In Mississippi, of course. Why? Why would it be no other place? Mississippi leave a bad taste in folks' mind. And they got some good people out there, too. Hardworking people. They gave the family the head and the body parts in the box, man. Now, I don't know if they was taking them to a funeral home or what. I mean, I don't want to go too far into that because they had the autopsy and all of that. But I guess they was, I don't want to feed too much into that because, I mean, it's a lot of different reasons why they could have got that situation. I don't know. But that's horrific, man. The remains of your child, 25 years old, was close, loved his mother, still in her life. All that blood, sweat, tear, financial investment, and everything else. Nobody thinks about that. To get that guy where he was at to be successful in the world and to have some assholes come and take that shit away like that is bullshit. Bullshit. That shit hurtful. They cursing at him, doing racial slurs and all this other stuff, man. Listen, it's just sad that the good ones got to go and meet untimely demises like that. And no matter how far we come, there's always somebody to remind us of where they think we should still be at. And I hate that shit so much. I hate that. Like I said, I think he was the only black guy out there. Another thing, and I don't want to say this to be funny. This is just me and a subscriber was talking about this. And I might be wrong. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm just a guy that films on YouTube. Just hear me out. Shit. Damn. What am I pleading for? He seemed like, you know what I mean? He had a little bit of, he seemed feminine a little bit to me. You understand what I'm saying? Or he was a little soft. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why they targeted him, because he wasn't the typical black man. You know what I'm saying? You could see him. He was clean shaven. He didn't look aggressive, you know, and they might have just been giving him shit because they felt as though they could do that to him. See, we pick and choose our battles. Some of us ain't going for that shit. And it might have been a contributing factor. Good thing for him, he did speak to his mom, and she got something she can stand on, and she can fight for him while he's not here. That's what we need to do. We need to start fighting for each other, because we don't do that. We'll sit back and laugh when somebody get fucked up that look like us, and we know it's wrong. Now, we ain't got to jump in it, but we got to stop it. Sometimes strength is in numbers. Show people that we not going for this shit no fucking more. Guys, leave me a comment, man. This shit is sad. This Michael Corey Jenkins thing, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago? Somebody chopped the black dude's head off in Mississippi, put it on a fucking family porch, burnt the body up somewhere else. This is the same shit, similar. You know how hardcore you gotta be, or how much hatred you gotta be to sit there and saw somebody's goddamn head off? And listen, when somebody's decapitated, the medical examiner will know that a person was decapitated or an animal chewed up. They would know. It would have been in the report. Why didn't the report? That means somebody did that shit. Listen, guys, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Damn, man. I'll just see you guys in the next video. Take care.